Stretching across southern and central Utah are 5 stunning national parks. Called the Mighty Five, these parks contain some of the most thrilling hiking trails and iconic landscapes in the United States. Hi, my name is Tysha Shay. I'm the branch manager at the Republic Library, and my family loves to travel together. Today I'm inviting you to relive our adventure of hiking the Mighty Five. We traveled during springtime, and the weather fluctuated from cold and snowy to spring-like temperatures in the 60s and 70s, depending on what elevation we were currently at. We drove over 750 miles during the trip, which started in Salt Lake City and ended in Las Vegas. And I wanted to note that we're a family of different generations with different activity abilities, so almost all of the hikes we chose for each park were designated as family friendly. Day 1 was a travel day for us. We flew from Springfield to Salt Lake City, Utah, rented 2 vehicles, and drove the almost 4-hour trip to Moab, Utah. Moab is home to the 2 iconic national parks, Arches and Canyonlands. It has beautiful scenery, lots of activities, and it's a quaint little town that's easily walkable with fun shops and good restaurants. And that was our home base while we adventured out into those 2 national parks. Our first park was Canyonlands National Park. Compared to its smaller and more popular neighbor, Arches National Park, Canyonlands feels more rugged, more remote, and a whole lot larger. And it is enormous in size. Over 330,000 acres are filled with canyons, arches, buttes, mesas, dirt roads, hiking trails, campgrounds, and overlooks. This immense area of land is divided into 4 districts. Island in the Sky, the closest district to Moab, is the most popular section of the park, and that's the section that we visited. Here we hiked to view Mesa Arch and took in the views from Grand Viewpoint and Buck Canyon Overlook. This is us at Mesa Arch. And then these are some of the views from Grand Viewpoint and Buck Canyon Overlook. Before heading in for the day, we also drove over to Dead Horse State Park. The view from Dead Horse Point is one of the most photographed scenic vistas in the world. Towering 2,000 feet above the Colorado River, the overlook provides a breathtaking panorama of Canyonland's sculpted pinnacles and buttes. The next day, we headed into Arches National Park, and you can tell that it's a sunny day today, unlike the snow and coldy weather that we had the day before. Arches National Park is a wonderland of strange rock formations, short hiking trails, and you guessed it, arches. There are over 2,000 arches there. You can also see hoodoos, fins of sandstone rocks, massive mesas, and balanced rocks. Arches is a small, easy place to visit. It's really a joy to explore because you can see several arches and unique rock formations without ever stepping out of your car. With just a little bit of walking, you can get to many of the top sites in Arches, such as Windows and Double Arch. These are views of Park Avenue. And the large photo here is Cathedral Rock, and the small image is Sheep Rock. You can see it looks like a sheep or a cow sort of chiseled out of the rock on top there. Balanced Rock. And then we did pull out to a little turnout here so we could take a photo of this. This is a view of the La Salle Mountains from Arches. And we just thought this was a great contrast between those snowy mountains and the rugged, deserty landscape in the front there from the park. We all did hike Delicate Arch together. It was definitely a bucket list destination for some of us on the trip. The trail to see Delicate Arch up close and personal is 3 miles round trip, and it climbs 480 feet. It doesn't have any shade. It has steep climbing, so you can see that here. The exposure to drop-offs, and it's rated a difficult hike, and it took us over just 3 hours to hike from start to finish. In the end, though, it was worth it. Delicate Arch is just as amazing as we thought it was going to be. It's beautiful and large and quite impressive. On the following day, we drove to Capitol Reef, and the weather, had rolled back in for us there. Um, Capitol Reef has sandstone cliffs, white domes, slot canyons, and arches. It really makes it extraordinary to to explore. This park also preserves the water parket fold, which is a rippling of the Earth's crust that's about 100 miles long. One of the things that makes Capitol Reef so easy to visit is that you can see, again, quite a bit of it from your car. It has a highway that runs through the center of the park, and a scenic drive that's on the, at the tops of the list of the best things to do when you're there. So you can really visit some of the most dramatic spots in Capitol Reef without stepping out of your car. This is our start of the hike to Hickman Bridge. Again, you can see by the photos, we sort of thought we were going to have good weather when we first started out, but as we went through, the weather rolled in again, and it wasn't as sunny as we thought it was going to be. But that didn't stop us. We made it to Hickman Bridge there. Rock art figures created by ancient Native Americans can be seen in several places in Capitol Reef National Park. Most are attributed to the Fremont culture, which existed in areas of Utah from approximately AD 600 to 1300. The petroglyph pictured here can be seen along a sheer cliff that parallels Highway 24 near the Visitor Center. The figures cover several rock panels, and the diversity of images is astonishing, and it's considered a must-see attraction along the main highway through the park. We also stopped and got a photo of Fluted Wall. A fluted wall is composed mostly of red sandstone. It's a prominent rock formation, stripped with eroded vertical grooves that inspire its musical name. Again, since the weather rolled in, we didn't get a great photo, and it's really hard to see the top of the rock formation and to see what looks like those flutes that it gets its name from. While we were there, we also did a fun little hike with a group of llamas. Our guide was awesome. He had been in that area and an adventure guide for several years, so he was really awesome. And then just getting to interact closely with the llamas for that period of time was a lot of fun for us. Afterwards, once we took the llamas back up to the hotel entrance, we were able to give them all treats. That was also a lot of fun. The second to last park that we visited was Bryce Canyon National Park. It's really a fantasy land of hoodoos. It has some bizarre rock formations and sandstone pillars. Hoodoos are tall, thin spires of rock that protrude from the bottom of an arid drainage basin, and they are found all over the world but occur in the most abundance in Bryce Canyon. So the hoodoos are the main ingredient there you're going to see here that create the unique landscape in Bryce Canyon. Bryce Canyon sits at the highest elevation at 8,000 to 9,000 feet. So it is definitely the coldest park out of all the Mighty Five parks. In fact, they said at the park there are roughly 200 days a year where the park can get below freezing. So these are some shots from Inspiration Point. So you can see just lots and lots of those hoodoos. And then Sunset Point. And then there are trails along the road that you can just pull off to and do a quick hike if you would like to. We did a couple of those. And then these are just some shots of other sceneries we hiked from one point to the next. There are some paved pathways in Bryce to make the trails more accessible. And then driving from Bryce to our next and final park, Zion, we made a quick stop at Butch Cassidy's childhood home, which is in rural Circleville, Utah. Our final park was Zion National Park. It's one of the best places, they say, in the United States to go hiking. Angel's Landing and the Zion Narrows are two bucket list worthy hikes that attract thousands of visitors every year. But there are also a lot of family-friendly hikes to choose from. For most of the year, the only way to get around Zion National Park is by shuttle bus. So to hike those big bucket list worthy hikes, you have to plan months in advance to reserve a shuttle bus ticket. So as I said, there are also family-friendly hikes to choose from. So again, since we're a multi-generational family, we chose those types of hikes. This was observation point. We hiked the Canyon Overlook Trail to get to this observation point. This view, as you can see, is astounding. The road that sort of twists and turn at the bottom there is the road in or out of the park. So we drove that a couple of times as we were making our way to and from the rock. The park. To get to Observation Point, we hiked Canyon Overlook Trail, and this was by far my family's favorite hike of the whole trip. We loved that there were so many elements to the trail. It was rugged. It opened to drop-offs. We walked under a rock formation. We walked over a bridge. We walked over other big rocks and more just to get to Observation Point. So it was a lot of fun. The Zion Mount Carmel Tunnel is there. It is 1.1 miles long. So a study by the Federal Highway Administration in early 1989 found that large vehicles could not negotiate the curves of the tunnel without crossing the center line. So to ensure safety, the National Park Service began traffic control at the tunnel in the spring of that year. So rangers are now posted at both ends of the tunnel to convert two-way traffic into one-way traffic so that vehicles, small and large, so they can ensure safe passage of those vehicles. So you need to allow extra time when you're entering the park because there is a long line build up at either end of the tunnel waiting for the rangers to let each side go. And the family-friendly hike that we went to, the Canyon Overlook Trail, that is a hike that doesn't require shuttle service. It's very popular, and it was much busier than some of the other hikes we had been on because you can simply drive your car to that location, hop out, and start hiking. But some of my family did end up hiring a private shuttle service to take them into Zion so they could do another hike. They decided to hike Emerald Pools early one morning. And then you can see here, like in Bryce, there was paved pathways here in Zion on some of the trails, and again, just to make the trail more accessible. Friends of our family had recently stayed a week at the Ponderosa Ranch Resort, which is near the Zion National Park. We didn't end up staying there for lodging, but we did take advantage of their activities in the afternoon after we had spent the morning hiking. So we took a trail ride with some beautiful horses. The kids went zip lining. And then we capped off that evening going on a sunset Jeep tour. And the snow melting had made quite a lot of mud, but the gentleman who was our driver was a young fellow, and he had grew up in that area and been driving in those conditions since he was 12 years old. So he had many years of experience. We all thought that we were going to get stuck several times, but he was an expert driver, got out of those situations, of course, and we did not miss the sunset that evening. We left Zion and we drove to Las Vegas, Nevada. We were able to walk around the Las Vegas Strip, take in some of those sights before flying home to Springfield the following day. So thank you for following along today while I relived our Mighty Fight adventure. It was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope this encouraged you to take a trip to Utah, or at least just to get outdoors.